Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javanokelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for another amazing episode of the Daily African Proverbs. I am truly honored to be here with my brother, Keith G.Prez, who is a real lion and, the president of the 206. The 206 is Seattle, Washington, where we both are. G.Prez is a brother that I truly look up to, and is someone that, since I moved to Seattle, is one of the people that have helped me make great things happen. And today we are going to be diving deep into a Somalia proverb. We are going to be learning a bit of African wisdom, the way that we do it here every day. And our proverb today from Somalia says that a man with a sense of humor is never at a loss for words or action. A man with a sense of humor is never at a loss for words or action. So we are going to dive a little deeper into this proverb here. I want to just put it on the screen real quick so that you can see it. I want to thank you, Mala. Mala is already here with us on YouTube. Thank you again for all the support. It means a lot. Mala is joining us from Philly. And, I also see Sarah is with us on Clubhouse, joining us from Namibia. Thank you all so much. And if you're on Clubhouse, I want to encourage you to ping in people into the room. If you are joining us on YouTube, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and also share the current live stream with your community members so that we can build the village during the beginning of this conversation. So my brother, I want to just give you a moment to say hello and also speak to this proverb, as someone who interacts with people all the time, as someone who has grown your business to where it is. We will talk more about it. What does this proverb mean to you? The proverb again says, a man with a sense of humor is never at a loss for words or action. Thank you, my brother.
Peace. I just would like to say peace and greetings to everyone this morning. Man, I'm so excited to be on the show with my guy Simon, man, from day one. It's been brotherly love off the top. Every time the phone rings, I know that he's bringing something that's positive, some good energy. I've been able to be a part of some incredible events working with Simon. So I'm honored to be here today. So hello, everybody. Also, the fact that, this show focuses on sharing our content and our conversation with the motherland. Touches my heart. I'm one of the brothers from Seattle. That's few brothers in my small circle, my neighborhood, that's actually been to Africa. I've been blessed to been there several times. So just to say hello to everybody. And for the proverb, I feel like that really is in alignment with my personal lifestyle. If you take the time to look me up and see the photos of on my social media or that are out there in the world today, most of the time I'm smiling, man. I'm that's just my natural reaction to most things that occur, even when they're not the most positive things. And sense of humor is big. I'm a big comedy buff. I love comedy. Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. I'm old school with it. I love David Chappelle and a lot of these newer guys too. But I'm definitely a old school comedy dude. So my first reaction to anything is that smile, because that instant energy of putting your face and your body into that position creates positivity, and it's a go-to response to anything that's going on. So I definitely feel like having a sense of humor, and I try to have like a positive sense of humor too, not the one where you're talking about people that are degrading them or making people feel less than, but things that are just creative and being funny and making people smile. So I always tell people all the time, on your driver's license, right? On your driver's license, the only time you show your ID is when you're showing somebody that because you want them to do something for you. Either you want them to let you in the nightclub, you want the bank teller to do your transaction, or in an unfortunate situation, you're dealing with the police, and the first thing they do is look at your ID. So I always try to tell, especially young brothers, to smile big on your driver's license, because if you look at someone's ID and they're smiling big, it makes you most likely smile big in response. So it creates an energy, a positive energy, and most likely whatever you're trying to get accomplished is going to go a little bit smoother by having that smile. So I love that proverb, man. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Of course, of course. I'm just so happy that it's in alignment with who you are, and I love the advice that you've given to especially young people, that it's very important that when you take the picture for your ID, make sure you're smiling. And my brother, the way that you've treated me, recently you made a post with one of your newest acquisitions for your business, and when I saw that post, I felt like I had made that acquisition, because I'm always just so proud of you, and your accomplishment is my accomplishment, and the comment I made there was that you always treat your clients like their family, And I've also met your son, I've met your daughter, I've met your wife, and it's clear where they get this vibe and this energy of treating people like human beings. It partly comes from you, but I wanted you to share with us, just take us to a journey of what moment in your childhood, what story in your childhood still drives you today as a leader, drives how you deal with your family, you deal with your community. For me, I always share with many guests here that the story that inspires me happened when I was 8 years old, and it's what wakes me up every morning. Many people in Seattle are probably still sleeping right now, but but I'm always awake by like 4 a.m. because by the time I was 8 years old, I was waking up at 2 a.m. and I was distributing milk and bread in my neighborhood. And so since then, my mother trained me and developed me as an entrepreneur, that I don't depend on other people, but I depend on my community, and I engage with my community in a way that we can survive, because I grew up in the slum, and most of the time we had to come together in order to survive. So share with us a story that, when you wake up, you're like, that story is present with me today and keeps me going as I take risks as an entrepreneur, as a father, and as a community leader,
Yeah. So it's funny you say that you were younger, you had a bread and milk route in your community, and so where I come up at, we had a paper route. So it's funny because almost everybody in my neighborhood all had the same paper route at some point in time. Like my boy Anthony had the paper route first, and then he gave it to me, and I think I gave it to Mark, and it was just a transition of that, and I was like probably like the first formal job where, the Seattle Times, paid us to distribute the paper. But my first hustle when I was a lot younger was actually selling candy door to door. So the older brothers in the neighborhood, who had a car would go to the wholesale candy shop and buy the candy. And then they drive us out like, 45 minutes outside of the city into like the more affluent neighborhoods. And then we would go door to door and we'd have our little spiel together. We're working to pay for our baseball uniforms or whatever the case may be. And we'd sell the candy and then we'd give a portion of the proceeds back to the older kid that took us out there. So one time, the guys picked me up before they went and got the candy. So I saw the location of where the candy wholesale place was. So what I ended up doing was getting on my bike and going down, and I would buy my own candy, you know, at the lower price that they were getting it for, and then I would get on the bus and I would just ride the bus, far away from the neighborhood out into the neighborhoods where it was, more popular to sell the candy at. And what I knew was that to get home, if I just went on the other side of the street and caught the bus the other direction, that the bus would take me home. So, as far as an entrepreneur, I took it to the next level by recruiting my other friends that was my age that sold the candy for the older kids. So I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think it was like we sold it for like $3 a box, and then we got to keep like $1 a box and give $2, to the guys. And so what I did was I offered my friends 50 cents more, you know, but we had to catch the bus. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, instead of riding with those guys in the car, if you catch the bus out here with me, then I'll sell it to you 50 cent more or 50 cent less than what you were paying the older guys. So it's funny because one of my buddies that used to do that with me, we're still friends to this day, and he actually works with me as a driver. So that was my young hustler spirit, figuring out how to buy it low, and sell high.
I just love that. I love these kinds of stories. And, you know, a couple of years ago, about maybe 5 years ago, when Sauti Sol, which is one of the biggest band in Kenya and one of the
Yeah.
biggest bands in Africa, when they were in Seattle, you gave us an entire party bus that, took care of their transportation during the whole time that they were here. And you also, took the time when Boniface Mwangi, also from Kenya, is probably the most awarded photojournalist in Africa right now. When he was here, you also showed him Seattle, and he never forgets. He always remembers you. So you have a way of impacting people through your company, Presidential Transportation. And I wanted you to now paint for us a little picture of how did the Presidential Transportation LLC begin, and where are you now, and also what is your biggest accomplishment that when you think about it, you just smile.
It's that trip was crazy. Like every time you come, you always bring, some dope artists to the table. And so Salty Soul, like the fact that the first time that I went to Africa, I was producing a show in Kenya. And I was bringing over an artist named B.O.B. out of Atlanta. And we were doing, perhaps I might say it wrong, but I believe it's called the Congo, like racetrack is the event center where the festival was at. So, I cried, I cried a lot the first time I went to Africa, shit, getting emotional now. I can't wait to go back, but they kept calling us the stolen ones. The welcoming that they showed us, the love, I just felt like I was at home. And so Kenya is a special place. And going back to humor, the first city that I knew of in Africa was in Nairobi, Kenya, and that was because of my favorite comedian, Richard Pryor. Most comedians always have a story of their experience going to Africa. So in his stand-up, he talked about going to Nairobi, Kenya. So in my mind, I was like, when I go to Africa, that's where I'm going, and that's where I ended up going there. And I've also had a chance to be in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and Zanzibar. And Zanzibar is one of my favorite places because it just sounds so mystic. It just sounds, so unreal, and the history and the culture there is so incredible. So I just want to give a shout out, I'm saying, to Kenya. And, it was crazy because one of my boys who used to live here and moved back there, he personally knows the group, Sati Soul. And, you introduced them to me. I had no idea how big these guys was. And we hung out, for that whole trip. And so I'm posting pictures saying I'm the new member of the band, and people here that are my followers that know that they're losing their mind. You know what I'm saying? So I had to, look up like, man, who am I with? You know what I'm saying? And so with my transportation company, I've had a chance to be with some of the biggest stars in the world. Rihanna, Snoop Dogg, just to name a few. And it doesn't matter if you're a new artist that I've never heard of, or whether you're a celebrity that the whole world knows of. I treat everybody the same. I just do what it is, man. It's about respect for people in general, and also those guys were so humbling that there was no way, like they weren't acting like up to the prima donna type of artists. They was, just brothers welcoming me. I welcomed them. So it was lovely. Um, and presidential transportation started over 14 years ago. I've been doing actually probably longer than that. 14 years ago, like on the legit side, when we first started, it was because I was doing a lot of shows back then. I used to do a lot of concerts. I used to rent out the venues and fly artists in and all of that stuff. And we'd always have to rent a car. The same way you contact me for transportation. And I was just like, man, I'm gonna buy my own limo, and that way, I got a limo just to roll around in, and then I also have one for my shows. So that's how it started. And so my first limo was an '88 six-passenger Lincoln Town Car. It's famous for being in the movie King of New York, and also famous for being in the movie Pretty Woman, which is both of my favorite, up on the top, probably 100 of movies that I like. And so from there, it grew to a super stretch limo. And each phase, when I would look at the next car that I wanted and dream about, it would always come to fruition. It would always come alive. I'd be looking at a newer, longer, bigger car and be like, man, I can't wait till I get that one. I can't wait till I get that one. And ultimately, I would get that one. Did a lot of promotions, club promotions. I used to run club nights. So it was just good promo to have the limo parked in front of the club. And then a lot of times people would book their birthday parties with me, and I could, pick them up, bring them to the club I'm already going to, give them a VIP experience, and then be able to make money for basically going to work. So the transportation just grew from there. I went up to Alaska to visit Alaska of an artist. Shout out to my man Joker, the bail bondsman in Alaska. He flew me up to do some shows up there, and I seen this guy with this party bus, and he had like a coach-sized bus, but it was converted into a party bus. And it's crazy because I had a video camera with me that day. And I said, man, I'm taking this back to Seattle. It's on tape. And the guy's like, man, you gonna take my idea? And I'm like, yeah, I'm taking the idea. I'm taking it back to Seattle. And so I come back to Seattle. I meet another guy named Mike, and Mike had a party bus. He was from Alaska. And so we became partners. I had the limo, he had a party bus. And from there, we ended up buying 7 party buses in partnership. He ultimately got married. He took 4 buses. I kept 3 buses. And then we both built our fleets back up to where now we both have seven vehicles now. And he was just here yesterday. So, I always try to consult and aid and assist anybody that is interested in doing, what I do, transportation. I invite them to my office, open up the books and show them all the rules and regulations of the industry, because I want them to operate correctly. People take transportation for granted. There's a lot of certifications and licensing that the drivers are required to have in this industry, and I want people to be able to operate so that when I have overflow, I can send work to them, and I know that they are going to be able to handle it and deal with the clients in the same capacity that I would. So, and also understand the seriousness. Like operating this is a couple steps really below operating an airline, with the rules and regulations and whatnot. But it's been good to me. It's been really, really, really good to me. I've been able to be really successful. I got a real diverse fleet of vehicles, from SUVs to now the big coach bus that you've seen. And it just lit me up how excited everybody is about the coach bus. Like, the community, the likes, the shares have been just enormous. And then, I'm really popular in Seattle. I'm used to when I'm out in public, people recognize me and whatnot, but so many more people um, I say hi to everybody, so I don't always know if they really know me or not unless they say so. But so many people I see now will mention the bus, like, oh, I seen the bus. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know you knew me like that, so it's been incredible. It's real motivating. It opens us up to do things different than we could do on the party bus. The party bus is cool, but it doesn't carry a lot of luggage, not all of them. Some of them have rear storage, so they just aren't really convenient for taking long trips, where now we can really get on the road, take long trips with a big group of people, lots of room to carry luggage, got a bathroom on board. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm about to be actually driving it. As soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to pick up some people this morning.
Man, I just love this. I just love the story of your journey that you just shared with us, and also I feel that we need to bring Sauti Soul back and do like a US tour with them in this bus, you know.
No, because that's what their manager. That was supposed to happen. It was like, it was like, oh man, when we come do the U.S. tour, you're coming with us because I have a lot of touring experience. My first tour I ever went on was actually overseas in Europe in the Middle East, and I was playing the marimbas. I was with an African marimba band, Laura Sukutai marimba band. So I played the marimbas and the African drum all through Europe, France, Germany, England, all over. It was an incredible tour with the military, the USO tour. So that was in the 90s. And that's how I learned how to tour and learned about the riders and, packing up the gear and, load in, load out. I learned a lot from touring, playing African music. Shout out to Zimbabwe, so my man, Baba Marari. So those familiar with Zimbabwe, what I'm saying? Dumi Marari was a very famous musician, and he's the one that brought a lot of the Zimbabwean culture to Seattle and to the United States. And I grew up and was one of my best friends is Tendai Marari. He goes by Baba Marari now, and Dumi, and of course Laura, their mother, and Denai, their sister. So I was blessed to be in a family and have a lot of African culture firsthand growing up the whole time. So this has just been a blessing. Really, everything that I've dreamed of, and I got a big imagination, has really come to fruition. Like, and I don't know any boundaries. I just know if I want to do it, I do it. Some people say I do too much, and I say some people aren't doing enough.
That's true. That's true. People say that about me sometime too. And I just feel that, we only have one life to live, and while you're alive, you need to do something. So if you choose to just sleep with this time that you have, then that's the legacy you're building. That's the legacy you're building. I do want to check in with our audience members. Thank you to all of you who are joining us on Clubhouse. I would love for you to join us on stage because I want to hear your perspectives. I want to hear your perspective on today's proverb, and I also want to hear your comments to my brother, who is my special guest today, Keith G.Prez Asphy. And Keith is a real brother to me here in Seattle. And if you joined earlier, I was just sharing how he has impacted me personally. The work I do with One Vibe Africa, which is my non-profit organization, and also the work I do with Madaraka Festival, which is the biggest African festival in the Pacific Northwest. So is going to be involved with organizing Madaraka Festival this year, but today we are just focusing on his story and how he was able to build a transportation empire. I tell you, bro, if you are in Kenya, you'd be very popular. You'd probably be asked to run for member of parliament or something. Yeah, what you've done is no small thing, so you should really, really be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I cannot wait to get back to Africa. And then there's so many other places that I intend to go, Somalia, Ethiopia. Like, I look forward to returning and being able to spend some extended stays there. It touches my heart dearly. I just recently got back from working in Belize, working with Converge Media. I'll share the contact for that later on the checkout. But Converge, myself, Alaska Airlines, along with the Belize Tourism Board, we did a 2-week experience with 16 of my affiliates and associates, and we went down there to capture the African culture. And again, I was blown away to see how many of our people were there. We're everywhere, and we've not only built up the United States, but Central America, South America, Europe, this entire world, has been built on the backs of blacks us Africans, and especially our Black women. The more I experience, the more I travel, the more my love and respect for the Black woman grows, because they are the mother of the earth, and they are the most disregarded and disrespected people on the planet Earth, but they are the most important people on the planet Earth. So I always like to give acknowledgement of them everywhere I go. It just blows my mind.
Thank you. That's very, very important. I talk about my mother a lot, and some people get confused, but it's exactly what you said is why I do. Because she never got the flowers she needed to get when she was still around. So my job is to continue giving her flowers, because the experience I have as a man, and with a family here and a big family in Africa that depends on me, how I'm navigating that is truly because of how I saw her navigating life in general. We have people here who are joining us actually from also South America, and they're people of African descent. I see Mama Yama, Thank you, Mama Yama, for joining us. And I want you to quickly, because we have a very diverse audience on YouTube. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you share the live stream with your community, and make sure you also press the thumbs up button, so that when we are live tomorrow and the days to follow, you are notified by YouTube. And if you're on Clubhouse, I truly encourage you to, ping in 3 to 5 people into the room, so that, we can build the members of our village who are listening to our conversation today with G.Prez. G.Prez, my brother, I want you to, because there are many people who have never been to Seattle, let's for a moment pretend that you've just picked, someone new. Let's say Mama Yama, who is going to talk to us in a moment. She has landed in Seattle. Pick 3 places that you'd take her to, and just share the journey with us for a moment.
No doubt. So normally when somebody comes in, I like to, show them the impact that Seattle has had on the world. Most likely the airplane that they came in on is a Boeing airplane, which is from Seattle. Of course, everyone knows the dominance of Amazon, but many people may or may not know that it's also from Seattle. UPS is from Seattle. Starbucks, another world iconic brand from Seattle. So I like to share those companies and products and services that most people are aware of and may not be aware that it's actually from Seattle. But one of the number one most iconic place in Seattle is definitely the Space Needle. The Space Needle was located on the campus of the Seattle Center. It's a large acre facility that has like the Pacific Science Center. Now it has the Climate Pledge Arena, formerly the Key Arena. There's a stadium. When we were younger, there used to be amusement rides there, but now the campus has the Mopop, the Experience Music Project down there. So the Space Needle is definitely the most iconic building in Seattle. Then there's the Pike Place Market, which is downtown. And the Pike Place Market is where they throw the fish at. So when you buy the fish, the guys down there make it really entertaining and throw the fish back and forth. Somewhere, if you watch any sporting events that's happening in Seattle, they're usually going to do a cut to the Pike Place Market, which is also the place of the very, very first Starbucks. They come from very humble beginnings. I think it might be only a 500 square foot place there at the market, the original store, with the line usually going around the block. So definitely the Space Needle, the Pike Place Market, and then I also like the waterfront. That's one of my favorite places to visit. Ivor's Fish and Chips is a famous fish and chip spot here in Seattle that's on the waterfront. And then I like to share, small known facts. Like some people that may be aware of SeaWorld, where they have the orca whales that do entertainment performances. Some have mixed feelings on such entertainment, but the original and first time that an orca whale was ever used for entertainment purposes was here on the waterfront in Seattle, in front of the Ivers restaurant. So Seattle has a very rich culture. It is named after Chief Seattle, who was a Native American, the original people of Seattle. And we always like to give homage to the natives and recognizing that we're here on their land that was stolen from them. But Seattle and the surrounding area has named a lot of local places giving homage to that. So things like Puyallup, of course, Seattle, there's Issaquah. A lot of the things and cities and places in the area are named, still named after Native American people and words. So, yeah, I would definitely, love to give anyone that comes to Seattle or tour Seattle. We have some beautiful mountains. The Cascade Mountains separate us from the east, and then the Olympic Mountains range to the west. So on each side of Seattle, mountains, and of course, you cannot miss the beautiful Mount Rainier.
Man, there's something I just want to remind you to also talk about. When we were with Sauti Sol, you took us to a place where we had some turkey, the biggest turkey legs.
That was the Pike Place Market. Yeah,
That was so delicious, man. I was so ready to eat. And when you're dealing with artists and a big group of people, in the morning, the first thing they ask you is food. And they want good food. They don't want breakfast. They want a real meal, So when I asked you to suggest, to take us to a place where we could get a real meal, I had no idea we would be eating, that. It was just so good. I can never forget that,
Yeah, no, man. I love smoked meats. Like that's my eating smoked salmon, smoked turkey, smoked chicken, and so yeah, that's one of my favorite places. It's the only place you can get smoked turkey like 7 days a week. Everywhere else is kind of a specialty, but if you go to other cities in the states like Houston, Dallas, down south, Chicago, it's really common to find a smoked turkey leg almost anywhere. But in Seattle, there's only one place that does it 7 days a week. So.
Man, we will have to go there sometime, even just us,
Yeah, no doubt.
even
Let's
just
do it.
us, yeah. Man,
Do it.
I want to just invite some of our friends who have joined us here on stage. I want to invite you, Noel, and also Bibi and Mama Yama. Just share, your brief comments to my brother Keith G.Prez, who is my special guest, and then share with me your perspective on today's proverb. The proverb we are discussing today is from Somalia, and it says, "A man with a sense of humor is never at a loss for words." And my brother, just stay here with us, because I want you to listen to all our friends who are joining us, and then share your closing remarks. And I also want you to share how everyone who is here with us can support the amazing work that you're doing. So we'll start with you, Noel. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here with us again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I just want to start by saying, listening to you, KG, talk about how you've built your business as well as the culture of Seattle is very inspiring. You speak with so much passion. It is very much enjoyable.
Thank
And
you.
as
Thank you
to
so much.
You are welcome. And as for today's proverb, a man with a sense of humor is never at a loss for words or action. For me, I believe this is talking about the imagination essentially, and that childlike quality that we all need to hold on to in our adult years to really thrive and continue to be creative and innovative. That childlike quality of laughter and lightheartedness really can open you up to so much possibility in the world. And I will yield my mic.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, Noel. Stay with us so that you can listen to, G.Prez's response later on. Let's hear from Bibi. Bibi, share with us your perspectives on today's proverb, and also any comments to my brother, who is our special guest today.
Thank you, Simon. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. As always, it's great to be here in this space. As far as the the proverbs go, I haven't really thought deeper or anything about it, except that we do need entertainment in our lives, and especially at this time with the pandemic and everything going on, we do need something to cheer us up. And yeah, we do. uh, when comedians or people with sense of humor, they make things lighter for the rest of us, especially when things are heavy, and we do need that in our lives. So, yeah, I'm just gonna say yes, we do need lightness in times when things are heavy in the world, and that's just my take for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, baby. I agree, and also as a parent, I know that you are a parent yourself. Me being a full-time father, one of the things that get me through the day is actually, a sense of humor. My daughters love surprises. Sometimes, they don't expect me to crack a joke or do something funny or even dance. And sometimes things are so serious, I need them to get out and go to school, but they just want to play. So then if you get into their mind by doing something funny, it relaxes them, and then they listen to what you really want them to do. So I really appreciate your thoughts there. Mama Yama, how are you doing today? And do you have any comments to Keith? And do you have any perspectives on the proverb today? Okay, Mama Yama, you can unmute, but if you are unable to get to your microphone, we will go to Kay, who seems to be ready, and then we'll come back to you. Okay, Kay, the mic is yours.
Okay. Yes. Greetings. I thought I had missed my name or something. Um, so it's interesting that this proverb, a person with a sense of humor is never at a loss for words or action. And I've noticed I'm a person who leads with emotions, and I'm reevaluating that in myself now. But I ordered a pizza from Uber Eats, and if you know that you can see who the driver is and how they are getting closer to your home destination that you indicated, and so that never showed up on my phone, and then uh, it never showed up on my phone. And so then a little later, I called the pizza place. They said that they had sent it, and I called back a second time, maybe 15 or 20 minutes later, after we had agreed that it should be there by now, and if it didn't, that I should talk with Uber, because that was a third party. And so I did that, and still no pizza. So then later, Uber put up on my phone that the cost and the tip that I put would be reversed and taken off of my account. So I thought everything was fine. And so then later, I checked my account, um, and I saw the cost was still there. And I tried to contact them, had trouble with the password and blah blah blah. Um, Finally, talk, no, text with somebody, and I was irritated that I couldn't talk with a person. Just really irritated, because that whole thing that we're getting into with machines is annoying for me. So I was upset. And so then I thought about it. You know what? You didn't need that pizza anyhow. You've been trying to get rid of this 10 pounds, blah, 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 blah. And so when I called the bank and told them that I wanted to take the writing off, and I was telling the guy about it, he started laughing. And I realized it was funny because I was talking about this 10 pounds I probably gained. And then the pizza place said I was one of their best customers. I said, that's probably where the 10 pounds came from. And so I said, it's a good thing I didn't need the calories. And so I went on, and it just relaxed me, even though I still am edgy about the subject. And so I said, you can go through the process of refuting it with the bank and, see if they can sort things out, because Uber left me with, if it wasn't taken care of in 2 days, that, it's my loss. Well, I'm like, well, we'll just see about that. And so because I was so upset about it, I was paralyzed and doing nothing. And then when I being able to laugh with him about it, and I don't know what else I said, he just found me funny somehow. And I just laughed right along with him, because I could see, how I would be looking a little funny about this. And so it enabled me to continue, go ahead, fill out the dispute. It really doesn't matter one way or the other. I'm talking about not a whole bunch of money. And as I said, I didn't need the calories anyhow. And so it's enabled me to move on. And I have 3 things today that I'd rather not deal with. And this pizza thing was one of them. And I'm trying to find the humor in the other 2. This one was the easier one. But I think it's very important. And I just had been talking to myself about getting a sense of humor about things. And one thing I've noticed is that I have never been as right as I thought I was. And that perspective lightens whatever thing I'm dealing with. So I really think having a sense of humor is very key to moving on with life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is Simon here. Let me just check in with Keith, and thank you for your perspectives. My dear Kay, I'm just grateful, for your perspectives, and I always just love listening to you share here with us. I want to quickly bring in Mala. Mala, thank you again for your support on YouTube. And by the way, for those who are just joining us who might not know that we are live streaming this conversation on YouTube as well, you can join us there through the link at the top of the Clubhouse room, and you can also subscribe to to support. That's one way that you can support this Daily African Proverbs. The other way is you can go to my Instagram, which you can reach through my profile, and there is Linktree on my Instagram profile, and through that, I now have a way that you can support the Daily African Proverbs. So take a look at that. And then the other thing I wanted to share just briefly before I bring on Mala is that I have a book that I've been working on for a number of years. The book is called Rooted in Love. So I would love for you to also, when you go to my Linktree, you will learn that that book is out on March 7th, and it's on pre-sale now. So take a look at it on my Linktree as well. It's a photo book that has essays and stories about the work I've been doing with One Vibe Africa, which is my non-profit organization. My brother, say something.
I don't know if you guys can hear me regular, but your audio is chopped and screwed. My voice sound regular? I don't know for whatever reason, your voice is very slow and drawn out. I don't know. I'm having an audio connection issue.
Maybe it's the internet, but I think the audio is pretty good. So I think when the network connection is lagging, sometime that happens. But the actual live stream is just fine. Yeah. So we have 2 more people, and then I'll bring you back on, my brother. Mala, take the mic from here, and then we'll hear from Tracy, and then come back to my brother Keith.
Great day to everyone, everywhere. It's just been a beautiful conversation, and so much of what I was going to amplify, my dearest Kay spoke to. So, being mindful of the time, but just this idea that, you know, um, I've always been told, right, to not take things personally, but to take life serious. And I'm learning now that I understand the sentiment of taking life serious, but it's more about taking it reverently so that I'm not blind and being at a particular elevation of seriousness that I'm missing some of the other waves of knowledge or information that can come by finding light and levity in a situation. And so sometimes the emotionality of high functioning vibrations can take or disempower you from words and action.
Yeah,
And being
unfortunately,
able to
I'm
tap
sorry,
into
I'm
the
not able to
fullness of
hear.
our
So
divinity
I'll
and
just
humor
wrap things
being
up.
one of
Can you
them
shake your
and
head?
a great
Yes or no if you
connector,
can hear me. Do I
you
sound
know,
okay?
um, that's something to hold. So I'm just continuously blessed by the ways that we come into this room and continue to be informed by these proverbs and from those who have gone before us, and that there's just so much wisdom that we have to lean and tap into. And I have just loved
Can
you,
you hear me now?
G.Prez. Like your passion for Seattle is very reminiscent of how I feel about Philadelphia and just your journey. So continuing to wish you well, that you be covered, that you be protected, and that what's ahead is by far greater than anything that's been behind you. So continue to wish you well on your journey. I've only been to Seattle one time. But you have secured the fact that I will come and I need the G-Prez Simon tour because I left with a different experience. So clearly I didn't know the
Hello?
right
Can you
people.
hear me
So
now?
Yes, yes,
I
No?
can
yes.
hear you now.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and thank you,
Yeah,
Mala.
there's no audio at all now.
Oh, your audio is good, actually. Your audio is good. I'm the one who reduced your volume, so I could not hear you, but I could hear Mala. Mala, I think we're just having a little bit of a technical issue on our end, but I heard you clearly, and yes, when you come to Seattle next time, I would love for. In fact, if you want to come to Seattle, the best time would probably be around August 13th when we have Madaraka Festival. So, let me know. Let me know if you're interested in being involved with that. But I want to go to Tracy. Tracy, thank you again for your consistency and for your support for the daily African proverbs. Share with us your perspectives on today's proverb from Somalia. The proverb says, "A man with a sense of humor is never at a loss for words or action." Thank you.
Good morning, Grand Rising. Good day. Thank you, Simon. Thank you so much. I came in and I heard Kay and Marla, and I just love the light that is in this room. Just the vibration and the frequency of love and light and happiness and joy and power and sovereignty. It's just such a beautiful thing. And I am having the type of morning. I live here in the northern part of Georgia, and I just woke up with so much light in my heart for others. And so when I hear, this proverb, the thing that it makes me think about is in the healing work I do with my clients. When we think of the word healing, many times we can think of um, pain and doom and gloom and just being so serious, and yes, healing can be that, and it can also be full of light and wisdom and humor and joy and happiness. And so when I think about, just allowing a sense of humor, um it's like, how can I just bring more life and light into my reality, right? Because as I go through things, I'm growing through them, I'm glowing through them, I'm transmuting out of things, I'm transforming into things, and I just don't have to take myself so serious or the work I do so serious. So it's just keeping the light that I am, and reflecting it back to others so that I may feel, sense, see their own light, their own humor, their own joy. Thank you. I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I truly agree with what you're saying, and I appreciate it. I should just end that. I appreciate it. And my brother, just speak. I want to see if your volume is fine now. Just say something. Yeah,
Hello,
there
hello,
you are.
hello. I'm back.
There you are. Yeah, man. A number of our audience members had a lot of great things to say about, about you and your passion for Seattle. And I just pulled another sister who is in Seattle, like you and I, and has really, really supported the growth of this show, the Daily African Proverbs. Jay, how are you doing, Jay? And I imagine that G.Prez, but I want to hear from you in regards to G.Prez and also the proverb. I've been interviewing Prez here for the last hour, and I just love when leaders from Seattle show up for this daily African proverbs, and we are able to indulge and gain African wisdom together. So if you're just joining us, at the beginning we started by just learning G.Prez's perspectives on today's proverb, and then we went into learning a story from his childhood that inspires who he is today. And then we learned about the story of Presidential Transportation Service, that he's the CEO of this amazing company, and he just broke the story of how it has grown, and now he has a bus the size of the Greyhound buses, And so when I saw him post about that, I was just so excited. Earlier I was telling him that I felt like that was my bus, and it seems that he's getting that feeling from the whole community. So Jay, you have the last word, and then my brother G.Prez is going to share closing remarks and how everyone who is watching and listening today can support his amazing work.
Good morning, Brother Simon, and good morning to everyone in the Pacific Northwest. So it is in the morning. So wishing everyone in this room today an absolutely wonderful, safe, and blessed day. The name isn't ringing a bell, Brother Simon, but clearly coming out of Seattle, it appears as though I need to know who this brother is. I'm just joining the room, so I didn't hear his share. I wish I had, but thank goodness for replays. There's an opportunity to still do that. Seattle has changed a lot. And I'm just going to very quickly say this, is that I used to tell people, what is wrong with you? Why aren't you coming to Seattle? This is one of the most beautiful places in the country. Close to the mountains, close to the ocean. And at one point, it was one of the cleanest cities I had ever been to. But I'm going to land right there and say this about the proverb very quickly, is that I really admire and appreciate people that have great timing when it comes to their sense of humor, and they know when to use it, where to use it, why to use it. So a man with a sense of humor is never at a loss for words or actions. And when you have that natural gift and it isn't forced, it can be used in a way that truly does make a difference in a situation or circumstance. I'm going to say this very quickly, that I was at a funeral last Saturday, and the person giving you the eulogy knew this individual really well. And the people attending were in tears. They were really so emotionally distraught about the passing of this person. Well, as I said, the person giving the eulogy knew this individual really well and landed a joke about this person that was perfect. And it changed the whole mood of that service. It was beautifully done. And with that, I'm going to land my plane. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Jay. G.Prez, you take it from here now.
Jay, thank you so much for sharing. It's funny that you say that because some of my best comedy has been at funerals. I really, don't like to see people, suffering or feeling sad. So my instant response is to use comedy to try to change that energy that's in the room. So yeah, some of my best jokes have been, given my comments at a life celebration event. So I totally feel that. And yeah, let's connect. I'm about to share my information. I'm homegrown for real. Seattle would love to meet you.
Thank you so much, my brother. Yeah. Now go ahead and just share. What did you hear in this entire time that you are listening to our friends from across the world that were sharing? I do see that Mama Yama is back here, so I just want to respect her. Mama Yama, do you have any thoughts? Okay, there you go.
Hello. Could you
Yes, I hear
could you
you.
hear me?
Yes. Take it away.
Oh, thank you. Well, good morning. Good morning. I'm from Brazil, but I'm living in Ecuador, the land of the marimba and the djembe, the kununos, and the music and the Pacific. So it's a pleasure to be here. It's a special and a sacred space. Simon, man, you are great, brother, to open this space for us. And I will try a little English. Um, a man and a woman with sense of humor never runs out of words or actions. It's true. This is true. I want to say something here in the South of continent. The black people, the older people, always say to us that we have always should try to looking for all the good deeds to carry out the different activities of the day we are living. This attitude is positive and always fills us with pleasure. But it's a pleasure to I was trying to listen here Keith and all the things that he was talking. And Keith, here we have a circuit of festival of the Black diaspora. So we have Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, of course Brazil. And the best moment is the moment that we have the day of all the elders talk to us. And one important thing that these people always talk to us, and more now in these pandemic times that we are living, is that we need to the importance to know about our stories and our people, to hear what these people want to talk to us. So thank you very much for this. We have tropical weather here, so sometimes the connection goes and come back. But thank you. I am complete.
Thank you, Mama Yama. I'm just so grateful that you're here, and thank you to all the contributors. Now I'll bring it back to my special guest, Keith G.Prez Asphy, who has been very, very generous with his time. He's always busy. And as you share your thoughts, my brother, as you share your thoughts in closing, I want you to also, I feel that you have a really amazing jumper. I think it's a jumper. Now I'll bring it back to my special guest, Keith G.Prez Asphy. Hold on. Oh, I think you have the live stream on where you are, huh? And as you share your thoughts, my brother. Thoughts in closing. Also, yeah, you should turn it off if you can. Amazing jumper. I think you have the live stream on somewhere where you are. There's one of your gadgets that is playing. Oh, I think you have the live stream on.
Yeah, hold on
Yeah.
1 sec. I'm trying to get
Okay.
the. Hopefully, you can hear me again for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
I hear you very well.
Do
Yeah.
shake your head if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Perfect.
My headphones are not working, but
No problem.
I
No problem.
appreciate the last sister that spoke, coming from Central America. I look forward to coming and visiting. I would love to get the information on when that festival is. Like I said, I was in Belize. I've also had the pleasure of being in Nicaragua and also further south in Argentina, DJing and hosting a wedding for a very close friend down there. So I am constantly chasing the African people all around the world. I love seeing us in places that we are not visibly recognized at, And so please share that information on that festival. And yeah, this has been just a dope experience. I'm so excited for Simon. I'm so proud of you for doing this show. I'm in the process of converting one of our into what I call a creative house. I'm in the studio right now. This is the recording studio room. And then we have 3 other spaces where we're going to be able to have podcasts set up. So many people wish to do what you're doing, Simon. They talk about doing a podcast. And it's just an honor to be a guest on the show and actually see you doing it, seeing you do what so many speak on doing. You are walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So this is just dope. All the way around, man. I can't say enough how much I appreciate it and look forward to doing further events and coming back on the show because, all of our stories are so incredible. There's no way for us to bring it all in 1 hour. And if you are joining us late, please play it back from the beginning and get the whole story. Far as my contact information on IG, you can find me at Gprez206, Gprez206 on Instagram. Also, my transportation company is there under Presidential Transpo, Transpo 206. Also on Facebook, as it is on the screen, Keith G.Prez Asphy. But I have too many friends on Facebook, so it's difficult to accept more. But you can follow my DJ profile, Gprez, on Facebook. And so the transportation website is presidentialtranspo.com, presidential, Presedial, transpo, Transpo.com. I just love it, man. And so, yeah, man, get me back on the schedule. I know you have so many more incredible people to interview, but when my time circles back around, I look forward to coming back and doing it again.
Man, you have no idea what that means to me. Yes, we will have you back here, and I am grateful, man. I'm also proud of you. Keep up the amazing work, and to all the amazing viewers on YouTube, thank you so much. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you also press the thumbs up button so that when we are live tomorrow in the upcoming days, you will be amongst the first to be notified. If you are on Clubhouse, please make sure you're following the African Father in America Club. My podcast is the African Father in America podcast, so you can catch this conversation in the next hour across all podcasting platforms. Thank you again, my brother G.Prez, and to all of you who joined us today. Thank you so much. I am extremely grateful. And this is now the end of our session together today. Thank you so much.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.